Hey, welcome back. This is ENCA Now, the Tuesday afternoon edition. One woman's search for her missing mother has ended in tragedy. Deborah Letsoalo was shocked to find out that her mother was killed in a stampede at Pastor Sheperd Bushiri's church. She spoke to ENCA's Tsahohacho Moahi, who joins me now to tell me a bit more about this particular story. So this story of Deborah is a story that I suppose many people, an ordeal that many people went through at the point at which there was not enough information about what exactly happened at Pastor Bushiri's church.
Absolutely, Tulasizwe. We've got about 3 ladies that don't know, that did not know where their family members were, or 3 families rather that did not know where their family members were. And this is exactly what Deborah also went through. She did speak to me, but she refused to speak to us on camera. But she did share her story with me, telling me that she went from pillar to post about what happened to her mother, trying to find out from the church representatives what exactly happened. And then there were times when she was told that your mother was probably not even part of the church, and what had happened on the 28th of December. But the one evidence that they did have was that her bag, her mom's bag, was actually in the church at some point. And they had tried to call her, they tried to reach her on the 29th of December, which was a Saturday, because she was supposed to have been at a baby shower. And when they couldn't get hold of her, somebody actually answered her phone and just said, no, but I found the bag here in the church. So that was the one evidence that they actually had. And Deborah saying that they moved the bodies without the knowledge of the police. So that is one offense against the church already. And she also mentioned that the bodies were moved to a mortuary somewhere in Atteridgeville. And it is not even she says it looks quite dodgy, which was quite interesting for her to say.
Wait, what is the allegation? That the bodies were actually moved before police, forensic pathology and others could come through? I mean, this is a natural death. Whenever there's an unnatural death, the body is not to be moved until that has happened.
Absolutely.
So is that the allegation?
That is the allegation, Tulasizwe, that the bodies were moved to a mortuary without the police actually knowing about it. And the police apparently only found out about this incident on Saturday afternoon. So it was already hours after the incident had happened and hours after the bodies had been moved that the police were then informed. And they were actually informed via a tip from one of the nurses at the hospital in Kalafong, just to say this is what has happened. People have been brought in here and there was apparently a stampede at the church.
It's always controversial whenever you mention the name Pastor Bushiri. I mean, you either have people who believe the worst of him, including, of course, there was a protest, I think, last week sometime, that was calling on him to actually leave the country altogether. Or you have people who strongly vouch for him. So have we heard from the church?
Well, when I did speak to the lawyer, he said to me that what has happened now, Mr. Baloy, he said to me that what is going on now is that they're also doing their own investigations. So they are investigating together with the police to find out what exactly happened on that particular day. And when I asked him, do they feel that what they did was wrong by moving those bodies? And he said at this point in time, he cannot comment on that, which was quite interesting for him to say. He cannot comment on actually the bodies being moved, but they are also trying to find out who is responsible for moving bodies without the police being there at a point in time. And he's just really going on about how they are investigating. The interesting thing here, Tulasizwe, I asked, where is he now? Where is Pastor Bushiri? Where is he? Is he at some point going to visit the families just to pay his condolences for what has happened at his church and on his premises? And he says he's currently in Malawi. I'm like, oh, okay, so an incident like this happens, people die in his church, and he flies off to Malawi. And I got told that it was actually a schedule that they had put out already from between mid-2018 into the first half of 2019, and he couldn't have cancelled that trip. So he's in Malawi right now.
And do we know what's happening at the church? Does it continue to operate? Because I think it was members of SANCO, the South African National Civics Organization, that did stage a protest there some days ago.
Well, they did stage the protest, and when we were in the area, because we do know that this church is actually operating from the Tshwane Showgrounds, and when we were in the area this afternoon, well, earlier today, we saw the burnt tires and just the marks that they made there. And there were some people that were actually camped outside. So I went to go speak to them, and I asked them, what are they doing there? What are they waiting for? And they said that they're waiting for the gates to be open so they can actually go into the church and sleep there. So I said to them, are you guys currently sleeping out here? And they are sleeping out there. there. And as soon as the church is open, then they'll be going back into the church to sleep in the church. And these are mostly foreign nationals as well, so people that attend Pastor Bushiri's church. And I was also then informed by the lawyer that they are actually only going to open on the 20th of January. They're currently on recess, which is apparently what they do after their New Year's Eve service. They go on to recess for about 2 or 3 weeks, and after that, then the church is open, but they are back in action and back in service on the 20th of January.
Tshegohatso, thank you so much for coming through. That is ENCA's Tshegohatso Moagi, giving us an update on a story that is generating a lot of debate about issues to do with faith.